Donald Trump slamming Hillary Clinton's foreign policy judgment as he laid out his proposals to defeat ISIS earlier today. It's another week, and some say, well, it's another reset that begins with another very important policy speech. Will this be the big news, though, at the end of the week? And is Donald Trump right about the impact of the media and his current poll numbers? He took to Twitter yesterday saying, quote, "If the disgusting and corrupt media covered me honestly and didn't put false meaning into the words I say, I would be beating Hillary by 20%. Joining me now to discuss is Lawrence Jones, Ryan Girdusky, and Gabby Morrongiello. Gabby, let me start with you. How much is Donald Trump right? Obviously, it feels like every single day the media is in this personal judo match with him.
Well, I think the media is complicit in pushing this narrative that Hillary Clinton is the best person to be president of the United States and that Donald Trump is incapable of resetting the course of his campaign. But look, I mean, here we are another week. Donald Trump is starting off the week with a major policy speech on terrorism, just as he did last week in laying out his economic reforms. And the question is, as you mentioned in your opening remarks, whether or not Donald Trump is going to be able to stay on message. I mean, really, the media can sabotage him all they want, but Donald Trump has also self-sabotaged himself at many points during this campaign. So it's going to be interesting to see during his campaign rallies this week and during subsequent media appearances whether or not he can stick to his message, focus on terrorism, and attract voters who are concerned about national security.
You know, Lawrence, last week, Monday started off fantastic, well-received economic speech, in fact, cheers from many quarters, and then Tuesday it sort of went off the rails, and then it went off the rails even more. It felt like when Donald Trump's on that teleprompter, and he's got that really serious attitude, that sober attitude, that at least traditional political handlers are excited. Nevertheless, you have to admit, when he's off the teleprompters, when he brings that sizzle, that oomph that people love.
Right. You don't hear the bombast of Donald Trump, the actual Donald Trump that actually connects with the American voters. But I wouldn't know, as it relates to Hillary Clinton, she has history of corruption that the media could be focusing on. Yes, Donald Trump does put his foot in his mouth and sometimes gets off that prompter and off message, but I just wish they would cover this election fairly. Donald Trump does a lot, but Hillary Clinton has a past and a past where she wants us to promote her, where she doesn't do anything as it relates to national security. You
know, Ryan, I mean, there's no doubt Hillary must every day say, thank you, mainstream media. I mean, because every time something bubbles up with her, it's taken away from the most recent quote-unquote controversy.
And she doesn't have to do press conferences. She doesn't do them very often. And the media has an agenda. It's been proven time and time again. Look, even when Trump doesn't say something, even when he doesn't have a gaffe, they talk about Evan McMillan, the third-party candidate who's running in 5 states, and he's polling at 0%. Harambe is polling better than he is. At this point, Trump could cure cancer, and they would talk about unemployed oncologists. This is what the media's agenda is. It's specifically anti-Republican. It has been with Mitt Romney when they promoted stories about how he killed a woman who had cancer, to back when they were defending Alger Hiss in the 50s. This is what the media is. It's what social media, the CEOs of social media do. They sit there and promote left-wingers. And I don't know if there's anything that he could do to really break away from that. He has to stick to his message, and he has to make it resonate with everyday working Americans. And that's the best I think that he can do.
Gabby, there's no doubt that this is, it's always gone on with a lot of candidates, a lot of Republican candidates throughout history, to Ryan's point. So to what degree, though, what kind of an impact do you think it's had? If it's not 20%, certainly the polls would be closer if both candidates were treated with the same sort of litmus test.
Well, I think it has a significant impact for voters who are tuned in, who aren't apathetic, who are paying attention, and are still on the borderline of trying to decide whether or not they want to support Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. I mean, when they turn on Fox News and they turn on the major cable networks and like MSNBC and CNN, and they hear what's being said about Donald Trump and his campaign as it compares to Hillary Clinton, and they also notice the absence of what isn't being said, it makes their decision a lot more difficult. I think that, as Ryan mentioned, if some of these scandals that have haunted Hillary Clinton's campaign were covered more thoroughly and investigated more thoroughly by reporters, there would be a different polling gap in what we're seeing in battleground states at the moment and nationally.
Ryan, do you think that they would be at least tied, perhaps, if they applied the same scrutiny?
Yeah, if the con didn't get as much attention as, I don't know, a nuclear bomb would have, then maybe yes. I think that there would be a certain difference in the polls.
Lawrence, how do you feel?
I just think that her unfavorable numbers are already low. The American people don't trust her. I think that's the most vulnerable place you can be as a candidate. It's not have the trust of the voters. I think Donald Trump has put himself in this predicament, but the media does need to take responsibility. He's giving them access, and they're not rewarding him.
Yeah, a lot of people said in the primary they were setting Donald Trump up, you know, bringing him on, bringing him on, bringing him on. But when the general election came around, they would spring the trap, and some think that's what's happening now. Hey, guys, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.